What's good, Panther Nation? It's your boy Myron McRae, a.k.a. Tornado McRae, across the scours of the internet, here with another episode of Panther Pride TV, your one-stop shop for all your Panther notifications and your Panther obligations. And a happy Thursday to y'all. Friday, Junior for most, man. Hey, give it a big Zoidberg. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I am so excited. It is Thursday. Hope y'all have had a smooth week. Hope that one coworker that's at your job has not pissed you off the way they usually do this week. And you know what? If you got a kiddo that's going to school this week, I know I've been saying it all week, but hey, happy back to school for the kiddos. Hope everything goes smooth. Hope you have fun in Miss McGillicuddy's class with the crayons and everything with it. But because of that, and I know you got a Panthers backpack on you, we have to talk about today's docket. And yesterday, the boys went ahead and flew down, started to head out to Houston to get ready for this week. So a few more so news articles that I found rather than news updates from camp itself, because obviously they were traveling. But first things first is ESPN went ahead and predicted the highs and lows for the Carolina Panthers. And what does that mean? Honestly, it is what it says. Now, granted, they did this for every team. They basically said what is going to be the high of every team, what is the low for every team, and what is their biggest X factor. So, I wanted to see what Carolina's was, and here's what they had to say. Carolina, their ceiling is 10-7. Their floor, 5-12. And their biggest X factor is the defense.
Nani?
Now, what's crazy to me, is honestly, I actually agree with this. The floor is, I don't want us to have a record worse than 5-12. We cannot be worse than last year. That is minimum. So I agree with the floor. The ceiling, y'all have heard me say on here, I think 10-7 is a great season in my mind. I'm looking more 9-8, 8-9-ish, but I would love a 10-7 season, and I think that is a great ceiling to have. I know some of y'all have said 11-6. Some of you have even said 12-5. And you know what? I'm not going to stop you living in that land, bro, because anything is possible on any given Sunday. And considering that we honestly could have went 7-10 last year, beating Philly and Kansas City, it's not out of the realm, bro. It's not out of the realm. So I don't necessarily disagree with any of that. And then here's what they had to say in regards to the X factor of the defense itself. They said this: can the league's worst defense in 2024 become a top 20 unit? If quarterback Bryce Young picks up where he left off on the final 3 games of last season, the success of this team will come down to defense. Carolina ranked last in almost every major statistical category. The Panthers have made an effort to beef up the run defense and pass rush with free agency and draft additions, such as defensive tackle Bobby Brown III and Nick Scorton. Stopping the run is first and foremost. Carolina allowed the most rushing yards in the league, 3,057, and third most rushing yards in NFL history. And when I think about our defense last year, bro, we all know this is how our defense was.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That's how we felt. But overall, that's not a bad statement. It's not a bad statement to make. And saying that the defense is going to be the X factor, I can see that. Now, if I was to really be niche and narrow it down, it would be the run defense. The run defense is going to make or break our entire season on the defensive end. I feel like there's no shade there. There's no shade, especially because he harped on the defense and how we gave up the third most rushing yards in league history, and we gave up 3,000 rush yards. So to me, if you really want to fine tune it, if you really want to sit there and say, what is the exact X factor? Rushing defense. And I find it crazy how he brought up Bobby Brown III and Nick Scorton, but didn't bring up additions like Rose Boom, the return of Derek Brown, didn't bring up Pat Jones, didn't bring up Umami Ellen, didn't bring up a number of other guys he could have. But then again, David just gave a really quick, short quip, so probably didn't get to go in depth as much as he wanted to. However, overall, I agree with the sentiment. I agree with whatever. I agree with what he's trying to get at. That's what I'll say. I agree with that. Then another aspect of the team, from unknown to an immediate eye catch. Now, everybody who was with me in the Discord and the stream who was watching the game with me, I did bring up this gentleman's name a lot. I've already brought up his name once this week, but I still want to give him praise. And this was an article from the Panthers on Panthers.com that was highlighting this gentleman because he's been balling out since he came onto the team. And that is one Cory Thornton. Cory's been balling out left and right, receiving praise from J.C. Horn, Xavier Legette, whatever y'all want to say. Xavier, let's guess. No. Side note. I'm going to start calling Xavier Baguette. That's what I'm calling him. I'm calling him Xavier Baguette. I like it. I came up with that today. Xavier Baguette. I think he'll like that. But back to Cory Thornton. Cory's been balling out nonstop, and he's been praised by Avero, J.C. Horn, Xavier, and even Coach Canales. As Coach Canales says here, I love seeing Cory Thornton show up like he's been. He put himself in good position, whether it's a tackle or whether it's making a play on the ball. Cooley's doing a great job of teaching him technique, footwork, and all that. He's taking the coaching. He's a natural football player, and then he shows up physical in those moments. So that was really exciting to see. And he's talking about Thornton's play on Friday night versus the Cleveland Browns. And, man, I'll be the one to also co-sign on that. Cory Thornton has been balling his butt off, bro. Like, Cory Thornton has been putting in the work left and right. Cory Thornton has been making sure, hey, you are going to know my name. And some of the open field tackles he made against Cleveland, the way he was disciplined, the way he was sitting in coverage. Now, they did try to target him a few times, not even going to front. They're going to pick on him because he's an undrafted free agent and an undrafted rookie. That's what you expect out of him. That's what you expect out of teams, to try and pick on him. But he's holding his own. And another thing that I like, because J.C. Horn had a couple quotes in there. He's saying, yo, I'm surprised that he went undrafted. I didn't watch his tape, but the way he's been playing here, definitely should have been drafted. He said he comes in early, he's working on technique, he's asking the right questions, and he's always focused and trying to get better, and that's what you want from a rookie. Avero co-signed it and said, when it comes down to how Thornton plays, he's a natural at picking up information. So you teach him a technique, he can naturally pick it up quickly, whereas others, it may take them a little bit of time. And to have that malleability and be easily just to mesh into whatever coach is teaching you, mimic it or execute it to almost perfection, that's awesome to have as an ability. And Xavier, he says he loves Cory's just tenacity and aggressiveness. He loves how every time they line up against one another, he is going at them full send, 100% like a football player should, and he respects that. And Cory sometimes will tell him, like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. And X is like, nah, bro, we hoopers, we ballers out here. We got to get at it. This is football, man. So we have to sit there and put in that effort and that energy, and that's what you want. Cory's balling with a chip on his shoulder. He's fighting for a spot on the roster, and I'm telling you right now, if it's up to me, the boy got a spot. He got a spot on the roster. If it's up to me. But, again, I'm not in the front office. That's not me. But I love what I've seen from Cory, and I'm glad he's getting recognized, and I look forward to seeing him ball out even more this weekend versus Houston. And then thirdly, another thing on defense, or another part of our defense, are the Terror Twins, as I'm going to start calling them, who are already showing improvement. And by Terror Twins, I am talking about the one, the only, Nick Scorton and Princely Umamielen. And the reason why I'm saying that, they're showing improvement, and this is coming from Coach Avero, talking about how these boys have been making a lot of noise. The Queen City Young Guns. That's another name. Terror Twins and the Queen City Young Guns. I might make... Bro, I'm making a lot of shirt ideas. Like, my brain is just coming up with shirt ideas. I definitely got to get these shirts ready. But this is what Avero had to say. says they're getting better and it's very clear. The challenge with that position, especially in the spring, is that you can't just have the content that you need to really evaluate them, to really see how they're developing. It's been really good to see the pads on. We're going against tight ends, we're going against tackles, and we're seeing a physical aspect of things. And since the first day we put on the pads up to our padded practice yesterday, there's been really a lot of growth and a lot of improvement. And so that's what we're looking for there. Listen, man. Listen. If all goes well and the way they're improving, these boys could be the foundation for the future for this defense. Because right now on the unofficial depth chart, they're actually both ranked second. They're actually both second string. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they could be first string. I'm just saying. It's not out of the realm of possibility. And if these boys are already balling out and making noise and shaking heads and doing everything they got to do the way they did on Friday, it's going to be awesome. And for those of you who didn't know, and I found this out, Nick Scorton actually had the highest Pro Football Focus grade for defensive players last weekend at a 91.1. And you had to play a minimum of 10 snaps. So that's something to take into account. And Umami Ellen, he had some showings I remember from Friday night, and I honestly enjoyed watching them just go at it, have fun, do their thing, and execute the way they're supposed to. So for the Terror Twins, the Queen City Young Guns, hey, y'all keep balling out like this. I'm feeling real good about the future, man. I'm feeling real good about the future. And lastly, before we even get into that, because I always forget for some reason, but before we get into the last thing that we always love to do, I got to give y'all the Panthers freeze frame of the day. And this came from a practice earlier this week. And Jimmy Horn. This is another reason why I think Jimmy Horn should be on the team, bro. I don't know what he did here. I don't know what route this man ran. I don't know what he did to break bro so bad that he is on all fours looking up in just dismay as Jimmy Horn catches what looks like a hitch. Looks like a hitch or a comeback route. That's what it looks like. And bro just slipped. He either slipped or was trying to stab, got crossed up, and fell to the ground. It just looks bad. But this is easily one of the best freeze frames I've seen. I think it's hilarious. Jimmy Horn gonna have a plethora of highlight stills that he can put in his house when it's all said and done. I just believe that. But now it is finally time for Panther Nation to speak your truth. I love hearing what y'all got to say. I love hearing what y'all got to tell me. So let's get on into it. And the first one comes from DeReal Charles 28. My man says, Pat is no way better than Nick Scorton. I mean, I agree. But the front office, they have other plans. They have other thought processes about that. So you might want to talk to them, not me. Not me. You know the deal. You know why I'm here, bro. You know what I am. I'm just giving you the content. Next goes on to Jason Stevens 25. My man says, hey, love the show. Nick Scott definitely needs to be riding the pine. I feel like you got to make Jimmy number 2 return man. And hopefully both or one of our edge rookies step up in the starting role. Hashtag keep pounding. Listen, Jason, I'm all for it. I think Nick should be on the pine. I honestly think Jimmy should be number 2, but if he's got to earn it, he's got to earn it. I don't want it given to him. He does have to earn it. I think he's earned it, but maybe some others haven't. And I definitely am also with you in hoping that Scorton and or Mammy Ellen turn out to be just uncut gems and flourishing for the Panthers. And don't let them get. Nah, I ain't even gonna speak that into existence. Nope. We're not even gonna take a chance on that because knowing the universe, it would happen. Lastly, comes from Gavin Van Note, the homie, one of the day ones. He says, 2 days in a row with no technical issues. Hey, Gavin, chill, bro. You've been on top of it this week. Love the content. Keep doing you and stay safe out there. Hey, Gavin, chill, bro. Chill. We got some newcomers out here that don't know about the technical difficulties. They don't know I be struggling sometimes. They don't understand sometimes that the stuff just don't want to work when the stuff don't want to work, bro. Oh, man, but that made my day. That honestly made my day, Gavin. Appreciate it, my man. But, guys, that's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell at the bottom so you can always be notified of when these videos are dropping. Next, comment below and let me know. 1, what are your what's your ceiling and your floor for the Carolina Panthers this upcoming season and what's going to be the biggest X factor? 2, do you think we should keep Cory Thornton on the team? Like, do you think he makes the final 53? And 3, how do you feel about Emmanuel and Scorton going into the season? Do you think one of them should be starting? Do you think both of them should be starting? Or do you think we should just keep them at second string right now until they get more up under them, like they get their feet wet a bit more? Let me know in the comment section below, because at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a skinny brother with 2 tats. Peace. Much love to all of you, Panther Nation. Take care. Later days. And as always, keep pounding. I'll see y'all next time.